What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. So I had this idea where I'd create a level and each part in the level would be in the style of a different creator. And then while I was in that idea, I thought, if I'm gonna do this level and if I want to make it, I might as well make a video on each part, or a tutorial that kind of explains the style of that creator. So here we are, and this is the first episode of the series that's going to come over this, and the first video is kind of lemon style. So we're going to be creating a lemon style part for the beginning of this level. And yeah, I'll just go through the gameplay and the decoration for the part, and then that's about it for the lemons. That's about it for the part. So I just want to quickly mention that the audio for the gameplay part was kind of messed up, so I'm going to be doing a voiceover for it, but the rest of the series, in fact, and the rest of this video won't be like that. It'll just be I'm just going to cut to parts where I say stuff, and then we'll just cut to each part in the video where I have something to talk about, something to say. So let's just get started. Now, before I start talking about the gameplay, I just want to say that I haven't actually got a name for this level, so any name would be, any name suggestions would be appreciated. You can put them in the comments or in my Discord server. It doesn't really matter to me as long as I can find them. So yeah. So Lemon's gameplay. It's hard to describe gameplay as a gameplay style because certain creators it's kind of like they just make gameplay, and either they don't make a certain style of gameplay, or they don't they just make in multiple styles of gameplay. So Lemons is one of those creators who doesn't have a completely defined style of gameplay, but there's certain things that he does and doesn't do. And one of those things that he does is kind of he makes gameplay that's it's not too interesting, I guess. It's there's very little slope work in his gameplay, and it's kind of just basic gameplay, and that kind of changed later on in his style. But for the majority of his parts, there isn't too much crazy slope work, so we didn't do any of that in this gameplay part. And then the thing that he doesn't do is that he doesn't change game modes that quickly, not gonna lie. He very rarely changes game modes in quick succession. It's usually this fully developed part instead of just a part that is composed of multiple game modes switching to create fast-paced gameplay. So this isn't gonna be true for all the parts. For different creative styles, but for this one particular part, we just had a complete cube part. There was no other game modes in Lemon's part, or Lemon's style part, I don't know how to say it. So that's, it's all there is for the gameplay. He's done some building with Lemon's videos, but a lot of them are just decoration. There isn't much gameplay tutorials there, and the one or two times that there is some gameplay tutorial, it isn't his style. It doesn't give you enough information to pick on his style of gameplay. So that's all we can do for now. So I just made some gameplay. I'll show you what I got, and yeah, time to go to decoration. Okay, so now that I've done the gameplay, we're going to start with some decoration. So I have these triggers, 1 and 2 alpha, right? I changed the background color to this kind of greenish, a little bit shade of blue. It's a little bit greener, just because I think this might be a little bit better. It's also, I just took a break for a day, just because I wasn't exactly sure what to do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fill all these in with base blocks, and if you don't know what base blocks are, they're basically just, I guess kind of self-explanatory, but the base of your design. They're not the base detail, but they're just what fills the entire block as a base. Something that helps contrast with the background and fill in the blocks. That's something besides design, I guess. It's hard to describe, but what Lemons does for his base blocks is he takes these completely solid blocks, and then he makes them a low opacity color of kind of the background color. So we'll do that too. Oh, and also maybe composite background color. because that might be important. Maybe, you know. So yeah, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play around with the opacity a bit. I'm just gonna fill these in and I'll see you in a second. So I finished adding all the base blocks now. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna try and choose kind of a style thing to do. Oh, by the way, I also put the little spikes. I made their details of the base color thing too. So just so that it's kind of, these things kind of have that like transparent inside, because Lemons does that as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of come up with a design, like details for the blocks, because you can't just add base blocks and then be done. That's not how design is. That's not how block design works. So let's see what we can do here. So I have that down now. I think what we'll do is we'll make like a smaller version of it for this particular block. And we'll just take this object and we'll kind of just place it in kind of not in like corners, but like in stacks, I guess. I'm not sure how to exactly explain what I'm talking about, but okay, so I've done all the little things, and I know I gotta do all of these, and then I gotta add the outlines and add all the glow. That's gonna be painful. So I've done all the basic blocks for these things. So as you can see, I haven't like completely finished some of these all the way to the top or the bottom of their blocks, just because it's kind of unnecessary for some of them, because you can't even see all the way that high or that far low, you know, depending on how you look at it, literally and figuratively too. So now that we've gotten all these, it's time for the glow. Now this is going to be a little bit more painful, almost. So while we're doing this, I'm just going to talk a little bit about kind of what I'm thinking for this series, just so that I don't have to do this in silence, because this was getting really painful the other time. Whoops. So I don't actually have all the creators planned for this series, so I don't know every creator that I'm going to do. I know that I have to do certain creators because I need to transition between styles. I can't just go from like glow style to like modernistic. That doesn't work. Because I want this to be like an actual level as well. Whether it's going to get like rated, probably not. And I don't blame Rob or moderators for not liking it. It's not going to be like a rate worthy level. But it'll be a level, right? Because it's kind of difficult to create a level that's rate worthy but also has multiple different styles in it, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't just different parts or even a mecha collab. This is like completely different styles, so there's no cohesion between certain parts, and it's impossible to have like complete cohesion between them, or even much cohesion at all. because it's completely different for each part. But certain creators, right, they do work well with each other. But like if I do like a modernistic creator like Knots, for example, right, that isn't gonna work with Lemons' part at all, because Lemons isn't a modernistic creator. Like, I know he's done modernistic once or twice, but he isn't like in general a modernistic creator, so you know it wouldn't fit. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna do certain styles. That just means that when I'm going and shifting over to parts with those styles, what I need to do is I need to create a part between the transition between two styles, like a part between the glow style part and for example the modernistic style part, just so that it doesn't, you don't completely shift from glow to modernistic. There's just that little bit of transition between doing glow and then doing modernistic, like perhaps a creator that kind of mixes them. I'm not sure, that's kind of difficult to find, but it's not that they don't exist, they're just, you know, difficult to find because it's such different styles. So you guys in the comments, I would actually really appreciate it if you gave me ideas of who to do next, or just in general, like certain creators that you think do a good job of switching styles, or just do a good job in a certain style that I could create, or that you want to see created, right? By the way, this one block literally has nothing in it besides these little things, because it's so small, it's not really worth it, especially once I add the black glow. It's not worth making this block giving me any design. It's just not worth it, so we're not going to do that. Okay, so we're done with the designs. They look pretty you know, like they're not the best, but you know, they're okay. So I moved all the black design parts into layer 2, and I've linked them all together. I could have linked them individually so that each design in its own block is linked, but I linked the entire thing, so just so that if I do need to edit them, I can just take them all to a new layer and do that. So now we're going to add movements. Now, different styles have different movement types, and different creators also had different movement styles and types. So, but I mean, this is like different easings, different like move times. Certain creators have the blocks moving in, or start moving long before you even see the beginning of the block, even see the block. Some creators have it so that the blocks don't move at all until you touch them, and then they move away. Some creators just don't have moving objects at all. You know, it really depends on the creator and on the style. Certain styles allow for certain things to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the movements first. We're not going to do anything special. I think I'm just going to make certain blocks ease in and out. Now I'm realizing that isn't going to work with the linked object, so we're just going to redo that, and I can take that out. I can still select all of them pretty easily, but I'm going to quickly finish the moving object. It's closing on an hour now, so this is going to be a little bit tedious, but I'll do this quickly too. So I've done all the moving objects now. They're all done. So the final thing, I guess, that we could add is just the finishing glow touches. So I'm pretty sure I did forget to add glow to the tops of some of these blocks. Yeah, we've done all the glow stuff now. I'm realizing quickly that these aren't going to be in the groups, are they? So I'm going to quickly add that. And yeah, I'll be right back. Again, fix that little issue. So, like I said before, and multiple times now, because I'm really bad at this, we're going to add the black glow. So this is going to remain on B2 because this isn't going to be a ginormous attraction, right? It's just going to be a little bit of adding on to the blocks. And you can see right here, right? The block, as you can see, it kind of fades out from black glow because there was glow there before, but by adding black glow I'm kind of overlapping it. But because it moves up, because that's why it's down. Because it moves up, it kind of, you know, it fixes that little issue. So, I mean, the issue really is just kind of a nice effect. And that's going to happen with all the blocks. So, for this one, right, it seems that it's kind of covered with the black glow, right? It kind of ruins half the design, but then it moves up and then you get all the extra stuff. this block, I'm gonna leave that one kind of floating because it is like a floating block, so we'll leave it floating. Yeah, I'm mistaking these trigger lines for the lines of the blocks. Now, I'm not gonna do this for the main blocks, like the top blocks. Well, I don't know why I said main block. That's not called. But anyways, just because I can't put them at the bottom because they don't touch the ground anywhere, so there's really no place to put them, and not worth it anyways. So yeah, we got that. I'm kind of wondering why that is buggy. Let's just... Okay, what groups are these in? This isn't group. This is not moving, right? So theoretically, these should not be in any groups. Any swords. Okay, I think I kind of messed up. I think all these glow blocks are in group 4. Yep, I messed up. Yeah, okay, that was a little weird. Let's test this out to make sure it works. So I worked for the bottom ones. Forgot to fix the top ones. Let's go do that. By the way, I'm doing this with a select filter. And if you don't know how that works, you just go to settings and you just do select filter. That means that when you have a certain object selected with this orb, for example, when I do custom right here, I can delete all these orbs, but I can also make it so that when I'm selecting stuff, right, as long as I have this filter enabled, I can only select that object. So for that, basically those orbs, which is quite interesting. It's quite useful too. So okay, it works all night. Except for all these ones. Please tell me that I didn't mess anything else up. Any more bugs, please? Anything else that I messed up? I think we're good. I really hope we're good. Okay. We're good. Okay, finally. So, now what we're gonna do is, now that I have the gameplay traced out as well, so that we don't get in the way of the moving objects, what we'll do is we're gonna add some arrows. Now, how Lemons makes arrows is, it's pretty conventional. So there's two ways you can make a Lemons arrow, right? You can take a slope of some kind and turn that into an arrow, simply by taking that particular slope design. Literally, I'll just grab literally any slope, just this one for example, even though I would never ever use this. And just turn it 45 degrees and you have sort of an arrow. And then you can add design to that. And the other way, which is what we're going to be doing today, is just taking something like this. And we'll take this and then put this behind it and scale it down for our arrow. And this is going to be kind of the base for our arrow. And let's give this some colors. So I think what we can do is we can give these color 3. And then brighten up this one right here, just so that it is brighter than the other one. Okay, so now that we have our arrow, right? Lemons likes arrows a lot. We'll go ahead and place these down somewhere. And then you can just kind of, you don't want them to get in the way of the blocks or the gameplay. And because these are big arrows, we'll put them only in places where there's kind of big spaces to fill. Those are all good spaces for some arrows. Now let's place some saw blades. What I'm going to do for this is just go and trace the gameplay, but then, oops, moving objects make stuff so buggy, it's kind of weird. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, right, and we're going to trace all the lines like I did before. But then we're going to pause it like this, and we're going to keep the kind of thing frozen like this, and I can just click this and resume. But we're not going to do that. We're going because now all the objects are in the place that they would be if once they've moved. So then we know where to put saw blades, because I'm not going to have it so the saw blades are in places where the blocks will overlap with them, because that's just going to be bad. So we're going to keep this here for a while and create some saw blades. So we're going to create 2 types of saw blades, because I don't feel like creating a really small saw blade. First, let's place these big ones. Now, I'm going to turn off snap, which snaps these objects to the grid, and we'll just place these wherever we have space. So like right here, right here would work. Now that we've gotten all that, all those big ones, we'll take the smaller ones. Oh. Okay. That happened. And we'll place these as well. So now that we've placed all our saw blades down and our arrows, I'm going to quickly hit this bucket here just to make sure that none of these saw blades overlap with any blocks before they move. And I don't know if that's the case, because I'm pretty sure none of them are under a block in any way. And that is true. So none of the saw blades kind of overlap with anything, which is good. We don't want them to overlap. I'll place that there just because. So now that we've had all this done, let's just add some custom backgrounds and some ground spikes and some effects. So let's start off with ground spikes, because ground spikes are pretty easy to do. So first I would choose a base for my ground spikes. So we'll choose this thing right here. And I like these because they have these little things that allow them to like transition into place, I guess, sort of. I don't know if that makes sense. We'll just place some of those, and then we'll just place something like anything. We'll just place that right there, and then that's all we really need, because we're not going to end them off anywhere. So I'm just going to fill everything in like this. Okay, so we've gotten all our ground spikes. Let's take all our ground spikes, and what we're going to do is we're going to make them all white. And that's because we're making like a blue and whitish level. There's not an insane amount of black, but we have the black in the design of the blocks, right? So it kind of makes sense to have a little bit of white to contrast them. And I have an idea for pulses too after this, but so now that we have this done, right, we're gonna go to the 5th layer and we're gonna add some glow. Now, the way I do ground spike glow is to take these big ones, and for these things here, I just place it like that. And otherwise, you can just kind of do this. And we're gonna give these color in a second, but I kind of just want to get these down first. Whoops, I forgot one right here, but no one needs to know about that. You guys are definitely not watching me do this. Okay, so we have our glow now. It's all done. And once we've done this, we're going to go ahead and select all our glow, and we're going to give them a blending color and put it on like B1, which should be under the spike still. So now we have this nice B1 glow, and what we're going to do next is something that Lemon says a lot, and we're going to add the little like Deadlock monster things, not clubstep monsters, those are dead as shit now. The Deadlock monsters, which are, these things right here, these things. So what we'll do is we're going to go to our glow layer, or our ground spike glow layer, link everything here so that it doesn't edit the ground spikes, and we'll move this back so that we can edit all the decoration itself individually. Now I'm going to show you how to create a monster that kind of fits with this. So you can take your monster, right, and this, I mean, you know, you could just do this, right, you could just leave it like this, and it wouldn't look horrible, but I personally think it's better when you have them white with the ground spikes. And then we'll take their eyes and make them that color. Right? Now you have your nice little monsters. Now just add some glow to them. Because glow is just, it's nice to have a little bit of glow. Don't like blow them up with glow, right? But give them some glow. So what we'll do is we'll make these color 9. And then shrink them to normal size. And make these color 5. So this looks like a lot of glow, it's really not. Once you place it behind this little object, this little monster dude, you'll see it's not that much glow at all. So, we have our glow in our monster. And what I suggest is that you kind of rotate these a little bit, just so that there's some variation to them, and they got, I mean, it kind of, and I don't know if this is the right word for it, but it kind of gives them some personality, right? You just alter their position, their height. So now that we've done this, you can still see there's a lot of empty space. There's a lot of just kind of nothingness. And you don't have to clutter your level. I would actually recommend not to clutter your level, but what I'm trying to get at is that we can still fill this with some stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys something that you can do with, you can use this technique for many things, especially with like saw blades too, but what we're going to do is we're going to take this big black saw blade, and one thing that I don't always like about this is the fact that at the center, it is less opaque than the outsides, right? So if I just make this white, and I could just make this white and dump it in here, right? But if but that's because it's less opaque in the center, and at the very center it's completely transparent, and that I don't like that. It's okay in just like regular levels, but like in our specific scenario, that can get pretty annoying. So you just take that circle that I made and you can just kind of overlay it like this, and then you get this kind of perfectly solid saw blade color. Not solid color, but like saw blade. And then you can just place a few of these around. Instead of just making another smaller one, I'm going to resize this, but yeah. So now let's go ahead and do some orb design. So one thing that Lemons does is that he either adds black glow or bright glow, right, to his like part. So I added like bright glow behind my monsters, my saw blades, and my arrows. You can add black glow, and that kind of makes it pop, but I personally find it a little bit ugly, just a teeny bit ugly, because the black glow, it kind of just, it makes it darker, and then it kind of overlaps with all the brightness around it, and it looks kind of disgusting, in my opinion, in certain scenarios. So I don't do that for orb design in the background and stuff like that. Yo, what? I messed up the layering really bad. Shoot. Anyways, okay, so I had to fix that up. We have a new layer that we can do our orb designs on, but actually I think I'm going to stick with this layer. This is all like the ground spikes and air deco stuff things. So for orb designs, it's pretty similar to everything else that we've been doing. So you just take something that kind of surrounds the orb. We'll use, I don't like these too much, they look interesting. You know, they're not my favorite object to use ever, but I use them every once in a while. Don't like these either. So I think what we'll use is we can use this, do that, and then I guess we could, I think that's actually all we need right now. So we can do this, and then we can put this pulsing square in the background. So we'll make it the same size, but then it's going to change size because it's a pulsing square. Yeah, it pulses, so it's going to change size. Yeah, I think that's kind of self-explanatory. So, and I think we can also make it like this color. No, yeah, that could. No, that might look just like messy after a while. So I think we're gonna stick with that. And then we're gonna make some more glow. So we're gonna put this here, and then we'll put this here. And I'm not gonna make like a giant glow like I would normally do, right? But what we will do is we'll give this color 9 or not color 5, and then put this on like B1. Whoops. And we might make this bigger. We might make this bigger because it might not work. Yeah, see, that's not very noticeable. So yeah, we're gonna make it bigger because it's not very noticeable. Maybe not too big. I don't want the orbs to be like too glowy like the rest of the level. The rest of the level is this a decent amount of nice glow. So yeah, there's that. We've done all this, and this is looking pretty good right now. Pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. This is looking decent. And I kind of like this. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to add the final touches, so like kind of background stuff. Time to make a custom back. So I'm just going to go ahead and play through this for you guys so that you guys can see the entire level, or what I've made so far, and yeah, so you know, I'll just do that. So yeah, that is what I've done so far, and this is Lemons' part. So I'll add his name in later, and yeah, of course I'm not gonna say it's Lemons' part in the color, but I'm gonna say it's Lemon style. So yeah, the end there, I'm gonna have to. It's gonna change up a little bit just because the style after this is going to. We'll have to put like a kind of transition to that. So it's not gonna look exactly this towards the end. But this is it. So this is kind of Lemons' style, and obviously he's gonna tell you better how to do his style by himself with his Building with Lemons videos. I'll link his playlist in the description. Go check it out. It's definitely something you can learn a lot of stuff from it, even though it's not like the best style ever. There's a lot of stuff you can learn from some of his videos. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you watched this far, Uh, I'm happy to be back and making like actual literal content after a while. It's been a while since I've actually just sat down, built and made a video or tutorial on it. So this is really nice. If you like this video, check out my other videos on my channel. I have similar videos like this one, and you might enjoy them. So yeah, if you like my content overall, I would love it if you could subscribe. And yeah, see you soon. Have a good day.